On the agenda tonight, we have a follow-up video to the one that I released last on my channel, which was Celine Dion performing at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So I'm making this video because the last video that I made has had a lot of views and there have been lots of comments on that video. So I feel like with this video, I'm going to have to title it something like, don't watch this unless you want to know what actually happened or what the truth is, because all I'm doing is stating objective facts about what happened, and I'm going to be doing that in this video tonight at the same time as responding to some of the comments that I've got on the channel since that last video. So an important thing to mention is that last night I get sent loads of stuff, but last night I was sent a video of the rehearsal, which I believe happened at 3 AM the night before the opening ceremony, and they did this on the Eiffel Tower, and somebody was recording that with their phone standing next to Celine Dion while they did it. So we're going to be analysing that because it's going to answer all of your questions and all of the doubts and all of the comments that I've had to read through of people accusing me of making stuff up and lying and, you know, taking a cheap shot at Celine Dion and all this kind of stuff. My video was just a requested objective analysis video, as all of my videos are. It's not a cheap shot or trying to expose somebody in particular. I'm just going to tell you exactly what's going on. So I've had multiple comments from people saying that the pianist and the musical director said that it was a live vocal that Celine was doing and that she requested to do a live vocal. I've got that message loads of times. And one person even said, so with this video, are you saying that the pianist and the musical director are lying? You know, and they were saying it in a sarcastic way, as if they could never be lying. But like I've already said, the facts in my first video are true. So and I haven't seen these comments, all that I've been linked to is a radio station in France that said that she was singing live and that's what we were hearing, which is a false claim. If anybody's making that claim, then it is untruthful. That is not what happened. And it doesn't matter who's making that claim. A large part of the reason for me doing a follow-up video is for when I get the comments from people calling me a liar, as if I've manufactured what I'm showing up on screen. If you isolate the vocal, run it through pitch monitoring software, you'll get the same results. You'll see that it's been calibrated to A440 standard pitch equal temperament. You will be able to see the same thing. So I'm not a liar, and this is the point at which I do call people out and say, I'm going to prove to you, and I already have in that first analysis, but I'm going to prove to you in this video that I'm not a liar. In fact, I'm the only one who is saying what actually happened, and it seems like everyone else is, I don't know, complicit in not saying what actually happened. So I'm just going to show you guys the screenshot of what I was sent, and it's a video from an X account, which used to be Twitter, of this person filming the rehearsal that they had the night before. And some people have said that some of the footage from the rehearsal might have been used in the real performance or maybe cut together and all this kind of stuff. But one of the theories was that in this rehearsal is where Celine Dion sang it live, and then they took that recording and pitch corrected it, and then that's the version that you hear on the next night, the opening ceremony. So then people are saying, oh, she did sing it live, but it was just delayed by a day. And then some people said, well, they'd rather it wasn't pitch corrected. So on that theory, and by the way, you can go to this X account if you want to, just find this video. If it hasn't been taken down, and this is the other thing, that it might be taken down because this is showing exactly what's going on, and I'm going to show you what's going on. So if we follow through this theory that this was the rehearsal the night before, and Celine is singing it live, and they're taking this live vocal, then overnight pitch correcting it really heavily, and then that's what we hear the next day. When we're watching this rehearsal, this cannot be pitch corrected in anyway, because it's a live vocal and the work was done overnight. So if it does match up, we know that even before the rehearsal, there was a pre-recorded, pitch-corrected track that existed. That's a fact. That's got to be a fact, because it then does away with the theory that she did sing it live and then it got pitch corrected, if it was already pitch corrected before the rehearsal even happened, and now we've got footage of the rehearsal. So we're not going to be watching this whole video through, but just to show you that it's not something I've manufactured and it's not just a screenshot, and this is this person's Twitter account. I'll press play. And you'll be able to see, you can go and look it up. But what we're interested in is the audio section. So Celine's voice and exactly what's going on. So just to explain what we're looking at, on the right hand side we have the isolated vocal from the rehearsal the night before. On the left hand side is the vocal that I showed you on Wednesday from the night of the performance. And none of this should match up, especially with the phone recording, because we've got ambient noise and obviously technicians that are talking kind of halfway through it as well. So there should be nothing that looks like, you know, anything similar, especially, you know, lines going over lines, unless it's the same audio file. So I'm just going to let this play through, and the phone quality is obviously going to sound a bit weird. And I just want to point out, I mean, I've got sensitive ears so I can hear it, but you might have heard, if you've got headphones on, you might have heard Celine's actual voice in the left channel. And this was because the guy with the phone is standing so close. She is singing as best she can, but we hear her voice. I'm just going to take that back a little bit, but I don't want to really focus on this too much. But just for people saying that it was her natural voice singing, you can hear her natural voice in that left channel if you listen closely. And it kind of goes, ah, it kind of, you know, descends. So that's Celine's actual voice. But the backing track that we can hear, that is what we heard, and that vocal on that backing track, the pre-recorded pitch-corrected vocal, is in this performance. Now, when I say about these lines cannot replicate each other, this kind of thing, as we look through here, on the right-hand side, we've got ambient noise. So it means that, you know, people are talking, all that kind of stuff, but it is still picked up the backing track that they are rehearsing to. So Celine is practicing over the top of the pre-recorded, pitch-corrected version that I think, in all honesty, and this is my opinion now, I think they always planned to do it like this, to not have a live vocal. As a musician myself and doing rehearsals and checking levels, all that kind of stuff, if you are rehearsing this the night before the performance, why would you not be singing and checking the levels of your voice that you're going to be performing live the next day? Why would you have a pre-recorded pitch-corrected vocal coming out of the speakers? It makes no sense from a rehearsal perspective, unless you are rehearsing knowing that you're going to be singing along with that track. You're trying to get the song as accurate as possible for you making the right movements for that pre-recorded pitch-corrected vocal. And this is where it gets really tricky, because all of those people that have messaged me about the pianist and the musical director saying that it was a fully live vocal and Celine was providing that, she was singing, that's what you heard. Unfortunately, that is untrue, because there's no way that any of these lines, and let me just do this as an example. I'm going to move this across, and there's no way that any of these lines are going to match up. So let me now actually move this down, and there you go. It is literally one goes over the top. And take into consideration again that there's ambient noise with this, so the likelihood of this happening, first of all, with just clean vocals is zero. It's like a fingerprint. You're never going to be able to perfectly replicate your pitch. But just by moving one over the next, it's almost like these bits where it's dropped out and the pitch monitoring software hasn't been able to hear it, when you move it up, it now completes the other audio file because it's the same audio file. And this is absolutely as conclusive as you can get. I mean, my first analysis was conclusive, but people didn't understand it. And I mean, as we run through it, I'm just going, I mean, looking at this, whenever you get a repeat, and this is again another really important thing, whenever you seem to get these echoes, if anything looks like the other waves, it's the same. And you know, if I just move this up, and oh, there we go. So now have a look at how these files and the pitch, I mean, we're talking about split-second pitch changes here of 1 cent that are going to be impossible for human vocal cords to replicate because this is pitch corrected. So if I move this down, you can see that we've got a replication going on. And I mean, even here, if you kind of keep looking at this bit here, and then over on the right hand side, if I move this down, as we kind of get a little bit further up, we can see that it's now kind of over the top of the lines. But of course, the one on the right hand side is with ambient noise, so this is why it's a little bit, and we're going to see this the whole way through, and this kind of thing is really telling because look at this little notch that we've got that happens at this split second, and we've got a similar notch, actually it's exactly the same notch. So when I move up and get the lines in place and look at what's happened here, it's exactly the same audio file that's being played over the top. And this is at the rehearsal. There's no way that she's recorded this live and then they're pitch corrected overnight. So that theory is out of the water. So now, I mean, I'm going to go through this, but I know that people will say, oh, it was just kind of one part of it should never match, let alone 3 or 4 or 5 parts. So as I keep on going through this, I can keep on moving this and get it in time. Let me put this over here. And the thing is, you know instantly, as soon as you've got it right, it lines up. It shouldn't be able to do this if they're separate vocals, separate takes, and not pitch corrected. Just it's the same audio file. So I mean, as we go through, I mean, there are bits that just look like the other parts, and whenever you kind of stop off, you know, even this kind of thing. Let me just move this all the way up here. You start to get that kind of replication, and let me just make it in time. So even this little W that you can see here, like I said, you know, we're moving this up and it's a perfect match on pitch. So, yeah, and you can look here as well, that every bit is lining up, it's completing it. So if you're looking at, again, if I just get that over to where it is, the vertical line, if I move it down here, you can see how this kind of thing happens where the vertical line joins up with the other audio file. And I know that I'm just saying the same thing over and over again, but this is for the people that say that I'm lying, that I'm making this up, and that it's my opinion, and this is what I think. I'm showing you objectively on screen that we are matching these lines, the same audio file, from the rehearsal to then the performance that everyone watched and that was released on TV. So, I don't know how much more of this you guys want to see. And you know exactly what's going to happen when I move it up and then get it in time. Like that, you start to get all of these, replications. Yeah, and the thing is, as soon as you get it, it's over the top. And, I mean, look at this. I mean, this is absolutely outrageous. This kind of ascension in pitch. If I'm moving this out the way again, look at how the line matches up perfectly with this line. So these are the two separate nights. So it's the same. Just as a final part, this kind of thing where you think, well, it hasn't really picked up any meaningful pitch there. The great thing about this data is that as soon as you move it up, hey presto, it's now completed, because it's the same audio file, it's completed the waves of that previous one, even with the ambient noise going on. So we shouldn't be able to match one part, let alone, what have I just done, 7 or 8 parts of this. But we're not going to keep on looking at this because I'm sure you guys get the point now. So this is the problem. When I say that, when people are calling me a liar, I'm the only one who's not lying, because this proves that the track was already it already existed before the rehearsal. That's the only way this can happen. They're not going to put together a pitch corrected track live. That's impossible. You can't do that. You need to be in a studio. You need to pitch correct it manually. And there's no way that they would use auto-tune and just hope that it doesn't glitch and the notes start going all over the place. Again, those people that are saying to me, I've got to be lying because the pianist, the musical director, and then I think the pianist said that Celine said she wanted to sing live, so she sang it live and that's what everybody heard. All of those things are incorrect. They are untrue. But they're all saying the same thing because I don't know why. It's just the music industry. It is the mainstream music industry that they would rather all be complicit in what they're putting forward, which is untruthful, to show what an amazing performance it was, all this kind of stuff. They would rather do that than be honest. I think honesty is such an important part of art. That's artistic integrity. So this is why I point it out. I'm a musician myself. And I sing, I play the guitar. I don't pitch correct or auto-tune my vocals. I think it's important to let people know what's going on. And if there is a vocal that is either mimed or pitch corrected or whatever, then just let your fans know, because they won't mind, because they're your fans. So now in terms of the audio analysis and isolating Celine's vocal, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to play one more part because I don't want to be highlighting Celine's real voice. But I think because of the accusations that people are throwing at me, I've got to just show this. So again, in the left channel, if you listen, you might be able to hear Celine's actual voice behind the backing track. So I'm just going to let this play. Yeah, I mean, I can slow it down, and I know by slowing it down, it makes it more obvious where her vibrato isn't matching the pre-recorded pitch-corrected version, and I don't want to do that because you can hear it. You can hear that second voice going on that the phone is picking up that is Celine's actual voice and not the backing track. So another really important point to bring up about the people on the inside who are saying that this was a fully live vocal, all that kind of stuff, whether it be the pianist or the musical director. You've got to look at what they're saying really carefully. If they've said that it's a live vocal, that is untrue. If they're saying that we heard a live vocal, that is untrue. If they're saying that it was a live performance, that doesn't mean a live vocal. A live performance means the person was there and they were moving. That's now what's considered a performance. So as long as you're moving around a bit, then it doesn't have to be described as a live vocal. You can just say a live performance, which gets a lot of people out of trouble because it means you can lip sync or mime to a backing track, and then when you're asked about it, you say it was a fully live performance. Because of course they were there, they were alive, they were on stage, and they did move. So that is what's classed as a performance. And this is where I have a bit of a problem with this kind of thing, because I see this as, well, dishonest, but misleading. If they say that Celine was singing live, and if what they mean by that is that she was singing live, but you don't get to hear what she was singing, and it was just the backing track with the pitch corrected vocal, which we know it was, if that's how they're describing it, saying that she was singing live, for me, I think that's a step too far. Because I could say, right, oh, this particular performance, I was singing live. And at the microphone, I could have been singing You Know My Name by Chris Cornell, theme to Casino Royale, the James Bond movie. I was singing that song into the microphone. But the crowd heard Scarborough Fair. That's the song that they heard, but I was singing a different song. But you don't get to hear what I'm singing, you're hearing the track that's being played out at the front. For me, I draw the line at that. I say, well, if it's a different thing that they're hearing, then anybody can come up and sing. It doesn't matter what they can do or what they can't do. They might not even be able to sing. But as long as what you play out the front is their voice that might be pitch corrected, or might have had a lot of work done on it in the studio. And that's not the case for Celine Dion. As we know, she's a fantastic vocalist, but I'm giving the example of what the people on the inside are saying. Look at how they're wording their replies, because that's going to be really important. And finally, just to finish this video off, for those people that are calling me, deceitful, disrespectful, that I should be ashamed of myself, how do I sleep at night, all of these different things, I'm doing an analysis video that has been requested all over the place. I've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, so it means that I was getting messages on Instagram, which I don't even use hardly at all, and YouTube, my official business email address, which isn't even for requests, I was getting it through that, the Wings of Pegasus Hotmail account, and the comment section, of course. So live streams, I was getting this request everywhere. So I'm just fulfilling the requests that I'm getting for those people that want to see a normal analysis video of what I'm doing. So there's nothing in there that I'm making up or manufacturing, and the problem is subjectivity. So something that really puts a spotlight on this point is that I had a couple of subscribers recently who have watched my other videos and have been subscribed for a while, and they've looked at my other videos where I'm pointing out pitch correction or auto-tune or lip syncing on artists that they might not be fans of or might not even know, but they've watched those videos and commented on them and been absolutely fine. But with this video, they've commented saying, "This is shameful. I can't believe you've done this. I'm unsubscribing." So because it's an artist that they know and they might be a fan of, that now changes everything. But they've been watching the other artists that I've featured and haven't unsubscribed. So that's what I mean about subjectivity, is that it warps your view. And this is why I will always be objective in my analysis videos, because you will get the truth and it is honest. The data is what the data is. It's not lying. And I'm just going to show you the objective data, and the data that I'm looking at, you can reproduce if you want to at home. You can isolate the vocal with Moises.ai, isolate it, run it through pitch monitoring software, you'll get the same results. So I'm not manufacturing anything, I'm not making it up. And this is why I do everything the same way. And this is the problem, that when you're a fan of a particular artist, it's really difficult to be objective. But as I've said in the past, I've featured artists that I'm a fan of, and I've pointed out pitch correction and auto-tune and overdubbing and not playing live and all that kind of stuff with bands that I'm a fan of. But that's because I hold myself to that standard as an artist musically, but just, I don't know, my upbringing, ethically, what I believe in honesty. So I'm not going to start lying about something. Unfortunately, in the music industry, that's something that does happen all the time. So obviously when I point something out objectively and then the actual people involved with it say, "Oh no, it was totally live," of course people are going to believe those people, not knowing that they're all complicit, that they're all pretending. And it's a bit of a sad state of affairs, but this is where you will get the reality. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, and regardless of who the artist is or which video has been requested, I'm going to do it exactly the same way every time. Just to finish, I know this has been a very long video, but just to finish with, I don't know why this person's recorded the rehearsal on their phone, because it's just dug the hole even deeper, unfortunately. If that didn't exist, then we wouldn't know that the pre-recorded pitch-corrected vocal existed before even the rehearsal, and that it wasn't done from a live vocal. So it means that we can say that there wasn't a live vocal before in the rehearsal. It was miming in the rehearsal along to the track to get used to that pre-recorded pitch-corrected vocal. And, pre-recorded track. That's what I mean. It was all pre-recorded. Yeah, I know that it might be hard to hear this kind of thing, but It's just the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts, especially when you're being led to believe something else. But I'll always tell you exactly what's going on and the truth of the matter with any live performance that I'm looking at. So anyway, keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comments section below. As always, let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!